Hello friends, today I've got two video responses for friends in the community, one of which is showing a couple cards and citing channels that have less than 200 subscribers, and the other one is a dream casting of if $10,000 dropped in my lap, what would be a few cards that I would want to buy. So stick around, check it out.
Well, I'm not going anywhere.
Hello friends, I am John and I am the 3D 80s kid. All right, so for my first VR, it is for Darren over at Return to Collecting. He is having a 600 subscriber giveaway, and it looks like from this contest, he's well on his way to meeting a 700 subscriber giveaway. So congratulations on your growth, Darren. It doesn't hurt either when you're a guest all over the place with Greg and Mike Moynihan. So having lots of fun interacting with others. I also appeared on the most recent live stream on For Collectors, so it's been great having you in the community. And so this first VR is for you here. And well, you did ask for favorite cards.
You know them's all my favorite.
I don't know, for me at this point, the cards I plan on keeping for like my Willie Mays run, my historical card collecting, my Hall of Famer run that's going over here that's kind of got a big reset that has happened. More to come on that in my next video, as I do have a plan at least for post-war cards. But first, I want to show the two cards that I got, my first two arrivals for this year. I have not actually purchased anything because I am still on that mission for a Babe Ruth at the National.
We're on a mission from God.
And but what did happen is I participated in my first ever trade of cards, which if you caught the live stream on For Collectors for Trade Night a couple weeks ago, myself and Chris from Missouri made a pretty decent sized trade where I sent one 53 Bowman color Monty Irvin as well as a collection of 60 Topps Hall of Famers his way, and I was the good fortune of receiving on my direction a pre-war Hall of Famer right here, and that would be a 1934 Gaudi Charlie Gehringer in a 1.5. Beautiful looking red background on that one, and the back also looks really nice. I will take a 1.5 in a pre-war card all day, as you don't get the variety of condition you'd get in ones. And 1.5s are usually pretty darn nice looking. About the only time I won't want a 1.5 is when there's a crease right through the guy's face. So happy to have that one. And then my other card would be, for me, an upgrade, at least in the appearance, of a Koufax in my collection. And that would be this beautiful 1963 Fleer in an SGC4. With a much better photo than his 1960 Topps hatless card. I think I've got that over here to just and this got a whole stack of 60 Topps. There we go. Here it is. It is this one where he's like looking confused and hatless in the main picture. And I would much rather take this gorgeous 63 Topps to be my sole representation of Mr. Koufax on my wall. So thanks for Chris from Missouri for doing that trade with me, and I am very happy with those cards.
Thanks, Chris.
So now moving on to the main body of the VR, which is shouting out channels with 200 subscribers or less. And I am a subscriber to a huge chunk of this community. In fact, my subscriptions are right around 460 channels now.
That's insane. It is totally insane.
And as such, I have quite a few that I want to give a shout out to that are in the sub 200 category. So let me share my screen real quick and let's take a look at these. So here we are, Darren's channel, Return to Collecting, doing the subscriber or the VR here. And now, first channel, I've sorted these from least subscribers to most. With 41 subscribers, we've got Ken Ziegler, who is doing, you see the vintage cards. We've got post-war, we've got pre-war, So a little bit of modern dashed in with baseball, and we've got football, some modern and vintage football. So a good mix of cards there, as well as a little bit of non-sport. So Ken Ziegler needs more than 41 subscribers. Up next, we have got old style classics baseball cards. So mostly doing some vintage baseball cards up to modern. Looks like we've got some racy, or is it racing cards here thrown in? But old style classics baseball cards needs way more than 52 subscribers. Next channel, we have got 44's Sports Cards Collection. Some vintage to modern baseball cards here, some football, and one of the guys who will show his face. I always love that. So, anybody, if you're scared about it, just go for it. Flip that camera around. We want to meet you. Part of being in this community is meeting people, and you feel like you really get to know someone when you can actually see their face. So it adds such a better touch, to me. But some people unfortunately can't for their employment reasons. But if you can, be bold, go for it, flip it around. All right. Uh, Moving on, we've got Pastor Craig's cards. He actually recently appeared on screen on the For Collectors Trade Night. So looking for him to flip his camera around as well, at least for his own channel, since he did put himself out there. But awesome vintage baseball collection there, as well as a little bit of basketball and football, you see. Next, we got Warren D in Cleveland. Now, this is a guy who was actually introduced on YouTube before he put his channel together by Theo in one of his For Collectors card tour videos. That was the final nudge to get Warren to actually start doing a channel. And you see, he is all over putting his face on screen, which is awesome. And, if you got to see that card tour video, he has a very awesome collection. Lots of cool stuff, memorabilia and cards on his wall. So that's Warren D in Cleveland here. 101 subscribers, that's not enough. So get him some more. Then we've got page refreshing, apparently. All right, Jason, everyday card collector, 105 subscribers. We've got some vintage baseball. Looks like he's got some, modernish basketball cards as well. But Jason needs some more love. Then Video Guy 316, 110 subscribers. He is a man of similar stylings to me, where he's doing some good things with video editing that I am enjoying. So keep up the good work over there, and send some more love his way. Up next, Collector Not Hoarder. Now, collecting style is in large part aligning with what I am liking to do with going, pre-war cards in baseball as well as non-sport. Even some other vintage you see with the music cards there as well. Really cool stuff that he's shown so far. That's a Collector Not Hoarder, and needs way more than 112 subscribers. Up next, Eric over at Automatic for the Collector. We're talking a multi-sport, modern to vintage collector. You see the boxing cards here, mostly baseball, but he does dabble around also with non-sport as well. Check it out, Automatic for the Collector. Up next, The Show and Me. Primarily, it is vintage baseball. I think I remember, yes, he's also doing the non-sport as well, so there's some really cool pickups there that I love, with the presidential cards and such. So check out The Show and Me. Then we've got The Battery, Carlisle Rude. He is a Braves collector attempting to collect every Braves card ever made. Quite the endeavor. In the entire history of the franchise, even predating when they were called the Braves. And he does a really cool editing style. Wish we could see him on screen a little better. He tends to go for the little bubble like I've got here in the corner for most of his screenshotting. But really cool videos from Carlisle Rude. Up next, we've got Hodges 1455, 181 subscribers. He's got a VR running actually right now that I need to do in a future video about good hitting pitchers. So check out Brian over at Hodges 1455 with vintage to modern baseball, some football in the mix here. You see some racing cards. Cool stuff from Brian over there. Up next, Jim L. Carter, multi-sport collector from vintage to modern, and lots of good stuff there. He's been a frequent participant, I've noticed, in our For Collectors live stream, so actively trying to interact with the community. Send him some more love. He's only at 191 subscribers, and he's cranking out the videos at 184. So uh, uh, next, my last channel shout out is for Delaney Sports Cards. This is a very enthusiastic young lady who is mostly, I've seen, collecting modern cards, but also got some cool vintage in the mix as well. And she is very excited to share what she's got. Loves, has done some interacting with some VRs out there. So show her some support. She's got 195 subscribers and could use some more. So once again, thank you, Darren, over at Return to Collecting, great member of this community, and very generous contest you're running. And I would be most excited to win T206 huge innings that you're offering. I actually have purchased a T206 card, but it was intentionally purchased as a gift for my friend Doug over at DK Cardboard, as it was the Matty McIntyre with the very funny hairdo card that Doug had cited when he was doing a live stream with Alex Bowman 53.
Nice haircut. Did you lose a bet?
All right, for my next VR, I am doing this for John P. Collects Cards. Now, he asked us to imagine a dream scenario where $10,000 falls in our lap and we have to spend it on only 3 or 4 cards. So how am I going to do it? Right now, I am kind of moving into obsessive mode where I want to complete the inaugural class of Hall of Famers. So I was able to pick up my strip card this past year of Walter Johnson. That's right up there. And so I need the other 4 guys. And, my first target has been saving for Babe Ruth to try to buy this summer at the National. And, if I all of a sudden have $10,000, I'm going to try to stretch that into all 4 of those guys that I am missing. And so let's take a look at those cards that I am targeting. All right, so there's John P. Collects Cards channel. And now let's take a look at the cards of interest to me. That first one that I've already set as my target here is the Babe Ruth 1920 W519 unnumbered strip card. And now this one, I am targeting to try to pick it up in an SGC Authentic if I can. If the right card is only available in a PSA holder, I will still go for it and walk it over to the SGC booth to get it crossed over, since I am anal like that I need everything on an SGC slab. So as far as values go, it is all over the map. And as you can see here from the VCP average being 47.40, but that's not on a lot of transactions here, as there's only 2 within the last year that occurred on this card. And there is a wide variety in terms of people spending on it that seems to mostly be based off the fact of how much white border it has on the side, which, in all honesty, that is not an important characteristic when we're talking a card like this for me. And I am much happier to spend less for a card like this one, where it's missing the border on one side and it only went for $22.80, versus this one here that's got a big white border around all the sides and for some reason then went for $7,200. So I am hopeful that I can be in the range of 2,500 to 3K on this card. Ultimately, is what I am really hoping for. I'm going to, go in with that mindset in the National, and if I can't find the right card for the right price, I am willing to be patient and wait for it in an auction. So hopefully it matches up for me. But, for this exercise, say I am spending about 3K on a Babe Ruth. My next card, which I would certainly not be targeting this one ultimately for my own collection, but I'm getting pinned down here where I'm forced to spend 10K very quickly. So I'm going for the 1915 American Caramel Honus Wagner with this beautiful shot here. The throwing one is much more beautiful to me. You see on the VCP average, it's at 5430. And now this is a case where it can have a wild swing with the condition there for an authentic. As the one that sold in January, it's got a crease right down the middle of the card, right through his face. That is not something I would want if I'm going to spend that kind of money. Versus this other one that went for $7,500 a few months earlier. I mean, this baby looks like it is probably an authentic because of Min's size, as this thing is pretty gorgeous, and I can see why then it ultimately goes for a lot more money. So I am, would we be willing to sacrifice quite a bit on condition versus that one? I don't want it right through his face. So for the sake of this exercise, let's say I find one that has some creases, but it's not right through his face, and we'll take a price of around $4,500 maybe for a card of that quality. So we're up to $7,500 for our first two cards, and let's move on to the next one. I have got a 1925 strip card of Ty Cobb, which to me had a more unique photo with him actually smiling versus a lot of his cards. And this one, the W590, there are only about 40 of these in existence, so it might be a tough pull to actually, well, let me back up. Not in existence that are graded. So, don't want to offend the guys out there that ungraded cards. The pop count that I can see is around 40 cards. So, but the last sale of this one, the PSA 1, that still looks like a really nice looking card to me, went for $1,320. So I'm up to $7,500 with this one. I'm throwing another $1,400 at it. So say we're up to $8,900 or $9,000, somewhere in that neighborhood with these three cards, if I can locate one, considering its low population. So then my fourth card in this dream scenario would be 1911 gold border T205 Christy Mathewson. I've just been mesmerized by this card. This is actually going to be the card I target for my own collection at some point in the next couple of years. So for a SGC 1.5, we have got VCP saying an average of 880. But realistically, the last one was a Chasing Cardboard, Buy It Now. So that might be a little bit of a high comp at 1,100, but it is a really nice looking copy there. And then we have an REA auction from June with another really nice looking, pre-war 1.5s, take them all day. And this one's at 960. So we're somewhere in the 1K neighborhood for this card in a 1.5. Which completes me up to the 10K level. So, fun little exercise. Don't know that I might be going for 3 out of these 4 cards in real life. Definitely am going to swap out the Wagner for a cheaper card. If you can call still something being 1K as a minimum threshold and getting hold of a Plain Days Wagner cheap. But compared to his other cards, yes. 4 to 5K versus 1K is cheap relatively. So, all right. Thanks for this exercise, John P. Everyone check out his channel.
Thank you, John.
So everyone, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.